All right, Shalom. Here we go. Good to go. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Before I get started with this live lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of Rakakadash. This is a quick prophecy hit. Be ready for anything. Sleeper cells in America and false flag events. All right, it's all going down. And this is basically the backlash, if you will, of the strikes that went down in Iran last night. You know, so they're saying that America's on high alert. All right, and you know, we're going to continue to watch out for these things. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, Iran sleeper cells warning. All right, so got a few quick news clips and a few scriptures, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, but as usual, we're occupied in prophecy. So let's go.
Americans are being warned of a, quote, heightened threat environment following the U.S. strikes and mounting Middle East tensions. CBS's Chanel Call is in New York with more on the impact here in the United States. Chanel.
And Jerika, sources telling CBS News that the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI will be hosting a call later tonight with law enforcement and governors from across the country to discuss the current level of threat and how to prepare for possible attacks here at home. Outside some religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites in Washington, D.C. and New York City, there is a heightened police presence.
There is no one clear, credible threat towards our city, but out of an overabundance of caution, we're going to make sure we have proper preparation.
The Department of Homeland Security is now warning cyber attacks are likely, and attacks by violent extremists are possible.
The fear is real. The concerns are real.
Mark Traeger with the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York says requests for extra security resources are pouring in.
My message to folks in our community is, be vigilant.
People associated with the U.S. military or government could also be at risk, according to CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd.
We are likely at the most heightened threat level that we've been in decades. Iran does have operatives here in the United States, and Iran also has the ability to inspire attacks.
And currently, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says there are no credible specific threats against the homeland. Jerika?
Chanel Call reporting in New York City tonight. Thank you.
Guess what?
This book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15, it says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." All right, this is the time to be even more circumspect, more than ever. All right, anything can go down at any day. All right, we're watching everything. Sleeper cells, America on high alert. All right, this word for circumspectly, it says exactly, accurately, diligently. All right, diligently remain on the watch. All right, to live carefully. Okay. Circumspectly, deviating in no respect from the law of duty. All right. Let's go back. So Ephesians 5:15 again, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. All right. And we're all waiting for whatever it is that they're going to bring. Okay, Ephesians 5:17. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is. All right, so gotta be moving with wisdom, especially right now, man. All right, the heightened threats that are going on, these Edomites that are beefing up the security, the military, the militarization of the police. Okay, these different laws and decrees that are coming into effect. All right. So it's getting deadly serious, as we told you. Through spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know.
All right, we're getting some more breaking news. Major US cities on high alert following strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. New York Police Department said in a post on X, out of an abundance of caution, we are deploying additional resources to religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites across New York City and coordinating with our federal partners. We will continue to monitor for any potential impact to New York City. So this is the information that we're getting at this point, that the major cities of United States are on high alert, of course, after the operation conducted by US military in Iran. My colleague Siddhant Mishra is with us on the phone line. Siddhant, we've been hearing this, that Iran is vowing to retaliate on the United States. But as far as this precautionary measure is concerned from the United States, tell us more about these measures, the cities which are on high alert in United States.
Well, Arun, United States has been preparing for this day from day one, if you remember, ahead of the 13 June strikes conducted by Israel. United States started withdrawing non-essential staff from its embassies in West Asia. And in fact, the entire region, the entire West Asia is right now on high alert. And now we're getting to know that United States, many cities in the United States are on high alert. In fact, the local police and law enforcement officers have been asked to be more active and to be more vigilant. Given the kind of strike US has conducted in Iran, destroying their nuclear sites, perhaps there's going to be a retaliatory response from the Iranian regime. Now, in fact, Iranian regime has officially also confirmed that there's.
Yeah, so his action was kind of heavy, man. So, but major cities across America are all on high alert. All right, and I want to get to the point, but let me get this real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 9:12. It says, "For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in the evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in the evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them." All right. So this disaster that's coming, this destruction, this event that's going to take place is going to come upon people suddenly, man. Okay. When it falleth suddenly upon them. All right. People are not going to be aware. All right. This is why, again, as I've been repeating, we're watching everything, man. Okay. We got our head on the swivel, man. All right. 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. All right. We are not in darkness. Scriptures talk about let us not sleep as do others, man. All right. So this is a very, heightened time of awareness, man. There's so much going on. It's a lot happening all over the place. All right. But this is part of prophecy. All right. The people will be in great confusion. All right. The uncertainty, the distrust, the fear, the anxiety. All right. It's all part of it. All right. Because that's the time that we are entering to right now. All right. Let's play this one real quick. Like I said, this is just real quick. All right. We're dealing with those sleeper cells. All right. Ex-FBI agent, Iranian sleeper cells in U.S. for decades. All right. And I talked about this last year. Other brothers brought it out as well. All right. Going in the time of the Biden administration. All right. The so-called illegal immigrants, the migrants. All right. Sleeper cells, war criminals. Okay. Gangs, everything that have been flooded into the to the borders of America, man. So this has been on the books for a long time. All right. So they've been speaking about these issues and that these sleeper cells are pretty much waiting for the activation, the green light to do what they're going to do. All right. And when it goes down, it's going to be epic. All right.
Jim Walder, News Nation national security contributor, former staff operations officer for the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, also formerly with the FBI with us now. Tracy, good to see you. Perfect guest for this. As I watched cable news all day today, it said on the bottom of the screen, does Iran have sleeper cells? ? And I thought to myself, it would be more shocking if they didn't have people that they'd infiltrated over the southern border in the past 4 years than if they did.
Well, thank you for having me, Leland. And you're absolutely right. I don't even understand why this is a question. I hate to be so blunt, but that's how I feel about it. They have sleeper cells here. They have, quite frankly, for decades. I don't actually think that this is new. I think we may have more of an influx, right, that we're discussing, but this isn't new. They're here. They have been here. They are just waiting for the right moment. And the fact that we're curious and questioning as to whether or not they're here is actually very shocking to me.
All right. So the Ayatollah, America will suffer if America gets involved in the war. Take a listen.
America's intervention in this matter is 100% to their detriment. What they will suffer in this regard is much greater than what Iran may suffer. The damage America will suffer if it makes a military intervention in this field will undoubtedly be irreparable.
What does a sleeper cell attack look like? Is this another 9/11 or something different?
I think it could be a combination. I actually don't think it's going to look like a 9/11 type attack, a very complex attack. That's really what 9/11 was. It required a lot of money, a lot of financing, and a lot of planning. I don't think that's what we're going to see here because obviously the world has changed, right, in the last 25 years. And there's been a lot of success in these kind of lone wolf or inspired by attacks. And so I think they're going to be kind of more lone wolf style. I also think that we could be looking at attacks to our critical infrastructure as well that we are not expecting. So I think it's going to look less like a 9/11 style attack, sort of shock and awe, if you will, and more in an unsuspecting way. And I actually am
Yeah, like we was, discussing amongst the elders. Hell, you could wake up one day and the stock market could be crashed. It could be an economic collapse. All right, panic worldwide. All right, no access to bank accounts. All right, no more use for money. You see what I'm saying? A blackout, an EMP, whatever the case is. All right, and all of this. Predictive programming from these movies that they've been telling you, showing you how, these different scenarios when they play out and, the reaction from the people, man. All right. So we're in the times of all these things, potentially happening. Right.
or in an unsuspecting way. And I actually am very concerned about our critical infrastructure.
Yeah, you think about July 4th coming up, that would be target number one. Every city and town in America has gatherings, and we know what can happen at big gatherings. History of sleeper cells in the United States. Obviously, the Soviet Union was some of the best at having their illegals. The World Trade Center bombing, the Millennial Plot, September 11th, Detroit sleeper cell, Disneyland plot, Hezbollah operative arrests. How do you find, and I hate to use the sort of cliche, I don't think you're looking for a needle in a haystack. You're looking for a needle in a hay field or hay barn, right?
You're absolutely right. It's near impossible to find these individuals because, as you mentioned before, some of them did not enter the U.S. legally, but some of them actually are homegrown, right? So we have this combination that makes it incredibly difficult to identify individuals that might not even come up on our radar. I mean, even if you go back as far as to September 11th, right? Those individuals had actually entered the U.S. legally. Had we checked their visas properly, obviously we would have known because we know that now. But that's the difficult part of all of this. They lead these seemingly normal lives, right? Drawing no attention to themselves whatsoever. But they have to get messages in some way. They have to get a signal in some way. And that's where I'm hoping they will slip up and we will ultimately catch them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
Yeah, that's the activation, man. Right? This is Sirach, where Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 28, it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, right? That's the sleeper cells, man. Okay? That are waiting to be activated, right? There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force, right? It says in the time, that's spiritual, right? In the time of their destruction, all right? So once they get that activation, once they get that green light, it's over, right? It says in the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them, right? So everything, again, is the will of the Lord, all right? Both the right hand and the left hand side, all right? So the point, again, in this quick lesson is to be ready for anything happening, right? Now, just to add on real quick, I saw this the other day too. Thought this was pretty heavy, right? It's from America First Report. Okay, it says UN warns terrorists could hijack AI cars for mass casualty attacks using slaughter bots. All right, so what they're saying is that they can take over these cars, man. All right, this is some shit straight out of a movie. All right, so imagine a fucking Tesla car getting hacked or some shit, plowing through a crowd or having some type of explosives or some shit, So this is crazy, right? It says a UN report warns terrorists could hijack autonomous vehicles, turning them into AI-powered weapons for mass casualty attacks without risking operatives. Security experts rate the likelihood of such attacks as, quote, moderate to high. Come on, man. Within 5 to 10 years, urging immediate action, right? It says terrorists may use hacked AVs to replicate traditional vehicle attacks like rampages or bombs remotely, eliminating the need for suicide operatives, all right? So they don't even need people to do it. They could just hack the vehicle's technology to get this done. It says autonomous vehicles' advantages could be weaponized for swarm attacks or infrastructure sabotage, overwhelming emergency responses. It says the UN calls for global cooperation to prevent AI misuse, stressing the need for proactive defense before terrorists exploit advancing technology, right? It says in a dire warning that sounds like the plot of a dystopian thriller. Like I said, this is like some movie shit, man. It says a new United Nations report reveals that terrorists could soon hijack autonomous vehicles, turning them into AI-powered slaughter bots. Okay, capable of executing mass casualty attacks without risking a secret operative on the ground. The report, titled "Algorithms and Terrorism: The Malicious Use of Artificial Intelligence for terrorist purposes," exposes how rapidly advancing self-driving technology could be exploited by extremists to launch remote-controlled carnage in crowded urban centers. See, so it wouldn't be wise to be in any type of crowded events. All right. It says security experts rate the probability of such attacks moderate to high within the next 5 to 10 years, but these things could be happening now. Urging governments and tech developers to act before it's too late. And the rest reads on, all right? So anything can happen, man. Another point, right? This is from ndtv.com. It says many nations ready to supply Iran with their nuclear warheads. Top Putin aide. It says Mr. Arkachai said that he will have serious consultations with the Russian leader hours after the United States entered the Iran-Israel conflict by striking 3 key Iranian nuclear sites last night. Let's read on. So it says, The strikes ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump took place late Saturday night, 9 days into an Israeli-led aerial campaign targeting Iranian nuclear infrastructure. U.S. officials claimed the attacks were focused on neutralizing Iran's potential nuclear weapons program. The Iran foreign minister condemned the strikes as a gross violation of international law, adding that they had crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. He warned that Tehran would invoke its right to self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. We have to respond, he said. Okay, and the rest reads on. So again, the point, all right, you're dealing with sleeper cells. Okay, you're dealing with America's major cities on high alert. All right, so it could all change within a day. All right, so just wanted to put that out there real quick, real brief, like. All right, any given day, this thing could happen. So just keep your head on the swivel because the days are evil, man. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up and we'll give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemel Washai by Hashem Kakwadash. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.